What is the capital of Wyoming?
Easy. It's W. Gotta go, Mom.
Love you, Dad.
Love you. Be safe at school.
We're holding the school hostage. Don't push any alarms, don't call for help. We have guns. And this is a bomb.
There's a madman here at the elementary school.
Your lives don't mean a thing to me.
Are my kids in there? How could you let this happen?
What's up?
I gotta figure this out.
You can't see what's going on here.
Every adult and every child made it out of that explosion alive.
Unexplainable things happen all the time. You know how I think. I need proof.
Well, then go find your proof.
Anything at all. Anything out of the ordinary.
What I didn't tell you was that there were other people in the room with us.
What other people?
The ones all in white.
Why didn't you tell us about this before?
I knew you wouldn't believe me.
Let's say a prayer, pass it on. Let's say a prayer, pass it on. Can't you see? It's all right in front of you.
You want to talk miracles? I'll tell you a miracle.
Children are taken hostage in a Wyoming school. David and Doris Young walked into Cokeville Elementary School with a deadly mission.
I said to them, "Is there something I could do to help you, sir?" And he said, "Yes, ma'am, there certainly is. This is a revolution. Your school's being taken hostage. Consider yourself a hostage." If you'd looked in David Young's eyes, you knew it was no joke.
They're heavily armed, and a bomb is wired to David Young's body.
He said the bomb was capable of blowing up the entire building. He said it will level this whole building and everyone in it. The hardest part of the whole thing was that I started out in this thing alone, and I couldn't warn anyone.
The Youngs took Christine to the first grade classroom at gunpoint. They forced the school's 153 students and teachers into the tiny room.
He said, "This is a revolution. I'm holding you hostage." And one of the girls in my class just went hysterical.
He demanded a ransom of $2 million for each hostage. With police and parents waiting helplessly outside the school, the tension inside the classroom increased.
We had children sick to their stomach, crying, and asking their teachers, "Why can't we go home? I want to go home."
Young put down tape in the shape of a square. He and Doris sat inside it. He said if anyone else stepped into the square, he would set off the bomb. Although he was acting more disturbed, the children became calmer.
It was just like this total peace and this comforting feeling just touched everybody. I guess you could explain it as peace. Always, that nothing could happen to us.
It was just a feeling just to be relaxed and not to worry that you'll make it through it.
Then the bomb went off.
The room was almost instantaneous black, and we had teachers over there that were grabbing kids, trying to get them out through the classroom windows.
This lady grabbed my hand and she pushed me out the window. And I don't know if I would have made it out because I was too afraid to move. That was the most frightening experience. Not knowing how many had left, if any, of my classmates.
Somehow, the bombers were the only ones to die.
And I heard Mr. Moore and a whole bunch of people start yelling, "We're all here, we all counted, we're all here." It was a great moment. We were very happy we were all alive.
Then, the children started to tell strange accounts of how they survived.
And I could see my youngest daughter, Katie, sitting on the ground, and she told me, "Mommy, the angel saved us."
I just kind of looked up and I saw this woman, and she told me that to listen to my brother and everything would be okay. And I looked up again and she wasn't there anymore. And then my brother came over and he told me to stay by the window and everything would be okay. And he walked back across the room, and that's when the bomb went off.
Several weeks later, Katie was surprised when she opened her mother's old locket. Inside, a photograph of her grandmother.
My mother had passed away when I was 15 and a half years old. And I had very few pictures of her. She looked at this woman in this locket and said, "That's who she is. That's the woman that helped me."
But Katie had never seen her grandmother.
When I saw the photo, they told me that she died, and I came to the realization that she had been sent to help me and that she was my guardian angel.
Other children started to come forward with similar accounts.
I did not want my own son, flesh and blood, going around saying that he saw an angel.
To get to the truth, Hartley applied police techniques to his son Nathan.
He said that he was sitting there and all of a sudden these angels came down through the ceiling, and one of them came up to him and just basically said, "Nathan, I'm your great-grandmother, and what David and Doris are doing is wrong." And he said the bomb's gonna go off.
Hartley showed his son a picture of his great-grandmother's.
He says, "That's her." He says, "That's my guardian angel." He pointed to my grandma Elliot. I says, "Nathan," I says, "why didn't you tell us this before?" And he just looked at me and he says, "Dad, you wouldn't believe me."
Bomb experts said the explosion should have destroyed the entire classroom and everyone in it.
Should have been 160 people dead.
But someone or something saved the hostages' lives. A videotape made after the blast reveals a strange image burned into the wall. The children said it is the exact spot where one of the angels was standing. They're convinced they had help.
That was a sign showing us, that yes, this was a miracle. Be grateful.
I think there probably were angels in the room when the bomb went off. And so the image was just impacted on the wall. There's absolutely no way that we could have made it through that without some kind of help.
I'm Katie Walker Payne. I was a first grader during the Cokeville bombing. I was just 7, and I was sitting kind of back in the corner coloring. And I just looked up, is all I did. And there she stood, a woman just dressed in white, and said to me, "Katie." And I thought, I don't know who you are. But she said, "I love you very much, and you need to listen to Travis." And in childlike, I just looked back down, and then I looked up, and she was gone. And I thought, I don't know who she was, but I knew she loved me. And I could feel that love for me. And I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew I was loved. And it was comforting to know I was loved. And then a few seconds later, Travis came and got me and moved me to the window. And so it was months. It was a few months. And we sat in my parents' front room. And they said, "Okay, tell me what you saw." And so I told them. And I said, "But I don't know who she was." And they said, "Describe her to me." So my sister's describing what she saw. And then as she described, I just turned to my mom, and I was sitting on her lap by the piano. And I said, "Mom, she looked like you." And my mom's like, "What do you mean she looks like me?" And I said, "She had dark hair like you." And I touched my mom's hair. And I said, "She looked like you." And maybe that's why I thought the connection, because she looked like my mom, maybe that's why I felt that connection. I wasn't weirded out by it. And so my mom started to cry. And as a 7-year-old, I thought, oh no, what did I do now? Why is my mom crying? What's wrong? And she just said, I'll be right back. And then she went and got the picture and opened the locket. And I knew instantly that that's who she was. And I said, that's her. I know that's her. And then my mom started to cry and said, but she's my mom. And I said, but that's her. No, that's her. She's the one that talked to me. That's her. I had never seen her. She had died when my mom was 15. And so I'm very glad that I was able to recognize, because I would hate now to be thinking, who was that woman? Who talked to me, who helped me out, who told me exactly what I needed to do. And I'm grateful that she had that picture, because it was one of the only pictures that my mom had. And now we've been able to get other pictures that I have in my home and things like that.